YouTube, it's the Morris Trucker, man, demonstrating love, true peace, freedom, and justice. Public service announcement, man. You ever wonder why in other countries democracy fails and why it hasn't failed here in America? It's because, we the dumbest motherfuckers on earth. Other democracies fail because the people as a whole are tired of the whole fucking government. Not Democrats, Republicans, mad at the president, mad at this one, they mad at every fucking body. Everybody got to fucking go. This is why they fail. And in this country, we not all that smart. You right? We gonna start with just something everybody can basically remember, right? From Bill Clinton, from Bush Sr., Bill Clinton, Bush Jr., Obama, and Trump, right? Nothing has fucking changed. Shit's getting worse, man. Like, we're so caught up. They shouldn't call it the United States, they should call it the divided states. Because that's what we are, right? We so caught up in what somebody else wants versus what we want, not knowing the shit affects us all. The presidents are really just a scapegoat. Every time one president goes, whatever problems are afflicting that country, people believe the next president is going to make shit better. And they make it worse. Okay, he get out of here comes somebody else. It's finna get better. Bush, it's finna get okay. Clinton, oh, it's finna get good. Bush Jr., oh, we finna do it now. Obama, oh man, here it come. Donald Trump, hey, it's for sure finna get better now. Ain't shit changed. Listen, man, price of milk still gonna go up next year. Your medical bills gonna still be as high as a fucking car note. Your medical prescriptions, just think about it, man. They got pharmacies on their corner. If you go to the poorest neighborhoods in the country, and we're not just talking in the city, we talking small towns. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a truck driver, I see some small towns that need a whole heap of help. But you see all the major players, Target, Walmart, plenty of pharmacies. You see what I'm saying? And the people we should be mad at, we give a clean pass to, man. And that's the Senate and the Congress. These motherfuckers a president only stays in office 4 to 8 years. 8 if he lucky, right? Congress, your senators, besides 1 or 2 here and there, but the majority of them been there 30, 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Don't you think they have more power than the president? They are the legislative branch. We was taught this in school. Presidents don't write laws. They only sign them. All this shit comes from the legislative branch. But lobbying, these big pharmaceutical companies, big insurance companies, big companies like Walmart, Target, Amazon, puts money into their pocket. Not only to their campaigns, but when they leave office, they become executives in these very same fucking companies. And these are the companies that are making it hard for middle class and under Americans to make a decent. Just think about it. You got to pay these bills. Utility companies, if they tell you your bill going up by $20 from now, it's going up. Your insurance premium's going up. If you don't spend that extra money on your mortgage for a fixed interest rate, them variables gonna keep going up. This is why we in the situation we in. And ones keep talking about they gonna improve the economy. They are off your fucking back by increasing the price of shit. And you gonna keep paying it without increasing your wage. I don't care where you work at, unless you're making over $400,000 a year. You paying out the taxes. You taxed every way. You get income tax. You got a tax on your vehicle. You got a tax on your heart. Every time you spend $1 out your pocket, there's a tax on it. Whether you at a convenience store, a clothing store, a dollar store, wherever the fuck you go, you're going to continue to pay taxes, right? That's what the problem is the whole government as a whole, whether it be Republican, Democrat, they all motherfucking heads and tails to the same fucking body, man. This is the craziest shit in the world. In local elections, people don't even really show up for those, but everybody run out in force for the presidential election because that's where the focus is. That's the only thing that the media focuses on. They're the only debates you see. That is the only history you're gonna get. You're not gonna get history on these senators, what bills they pass, what things they've been behind. You may get a little snippet of it doing commercials right around election time, but for the majority of the time, you know nothing about what your local senators and congressmen are fucking doing. So when you look up and you see your insurance companies, whether it be medical, car, home, and why it's so ridiculous, but then when you try to file a claim, it's like you got to go around your elbow to get to your thumb to get money that was promised to you so your life can get back on track. You got to wait this amount of days, and they got to investigate this, that, and the third, but you've been paying into this shit. How can you have insurance fraud when you've been a motherfucker paying the bill? You drove what I'm saying. These companies, man, and a lot of them have overseas accounts to where they're not even paying taxes on all this money. But nobody's mad at that. Everybody mad at who the president gonna be. When the real culprits are in the Senate and the Congress. And now you have Americans that have the exact same issues. I don't give a fuck where you live. We all paying too much for food. We all paying too much for dwelling. We all paying too much for fuel. We all paying too much for medical. We all paying too much into our car insurances and everything else. Your issues are no better than mine. I don't care what side of the fence you on. I don't care who's in office. You gonna be affected the exact same way as me. Craziest shit in the world, man. And now people out here talking about civil war. Who you gonna go against? You gonna create a civil war against the people who voted differently from you? How the fuck is that a democracy? What type of republic is that, man? What type of United States is that? When the real culprits are in government, they can change shit. They can limit the way people are taxing us. They see that they even confused us into believing that inflation is something that has to happen. When in fact it doesn't. Unless there's a new innovation. I'm going to use video games for it. I understand why I have to pay $4.99 for the new Xbox. But think about it. I paid $4.99 for the new Xbox 2-3 years ago. And there's a jump in technology right there. But yet the prices are still about the same. So how do you in anything else progressively explain why? If it costs more to make something, I get that. If the materials cost more. But that's not why shit is going up. Shit is going up because as a truck driver, I understand it costs, as fuel rises, it costs more to ship shit from place to place. So, whereas the shipper pays more, he charges the receiver more, the receiver turns around and charges you more. Right? That doesn't have to be. Shit is stable. The economy is at its best that it's ever been. The economy itself is never in jeopardy as long as the middle class and the poor keep spending money that they earn. You know what I'm saying? The rich don't support this country. They don't finance this country. The dollars that they spend are drops in the bucket. And then because they have so much money, especially for affluent neighborhoods and the governments that govern those particular neighborhoods, they are on the high end. Why? Because it's less congested, so they spend less money on infrastructure, for one, right? And people are more than likely paying for things. Why? Because they have an X amount of dollars. Poor people have to continuously buy things daily. Well, not daily, but let's just say on a monthly basis just to survive. You draw? Barely got to save up money to enjoy life. You see what I'm saying? So when we look at the middle class and we look at the lower class, those are the heartbeats, and these are the people that are mad at each other. It ain't rich Republicans mad at rich Democrats. It's poor and middle class Republicans mad at poor and middle class Democrats, when we both being fucked by the same dick. How? It don't matter who's in office, Republican or Democrat at the presidential level. They don't write the laws. They don't write the legislation. They don't write the city ordinances. They not responsible for your traffic tickets and your parking and whatever else you could be penalized for. That's not a federal problem. That's a local problem. And we let these cocksuckers get away every time. And then in presidential election, we run to the polls assuming our condition is now going to change, when it's the same person that wrote laws during the Obama administration are the same people writing it now. And they fool you into thinking that there's a battle on Capitol Hill. Every time I hear the word bipartisan, you know what I hear? We've been paid by the same people. When I hear the bipartisan, that's what comes to mind. Same people that paid for you, paid for me. Same people that's offering you a job when you leave, they offering me one. Top of the line. You dig? And it's synonymous. Unless a senator or a congressman dies, you can see they go to work for a major institution or a major company. They either going to a college or they going to a major company. If not ownership of their own fucking company. Now they got friends on Capitol Hill. We got to be the dumbest people in the world, man. You know, everybody threatening civil war. Who you gonna go to war against? Because you definitely ain't finna go to war against the United States government. So you can only be talking about the people on the other side of the fence, man. And for what? They suffering the same ills you suffering. They going through the same shit you going. And instead of us looking at it like we being fucked by the same dick, we assume somebody else is getting less dick in their ass than us. So that's a problem. Hell, I'm getting fucked every day. They only getting fucked once a month. What? We can't be serious here, man. You know, democracies fail because the people stand up against the government as a whole. They don't give a fuck who up there. All y'all are in the same boat. Over here in America, we don't see it like that. We choose to either blame the Republican Party or we choose to blame the Democratic Party. When the Democrats hold off, like the Senate, Republicans had it. Trump could have wrote any kind of thing he wanted and it went, well, I ain't gonna say wrote. He could have asked for anything and got it done. He ain't do shit. Every policy he wrote was to benefit him and his companies. He's a businessman. You notice the first thing he did as soon as he got in office was release certain regulations when it came to business and industry, because those things tie up money. You draw? Nothing really affected us. Oh man, he did this for unemployment. There's more jobs in America. That the president doesn't dictate what companies come over here, how many stores Walmart can open and Target. You know, like, come on, man, y'all can't believe that. Then if you look at the tax bill, what he put in for the tax break, which we all saw, in 2021, it's supposed to go back up all the way up to 2027. So he was going, if he was reelected, he was going to leave office was raising taxes back to the original amount, and people wasn't going to even pay attention. You know why? Because taxes are done in such a small increment, pennies, that add up at the end of the day, but you don't see the gradual increase. You know what I'm saying? Over time, you assume it's because of the coronavirus. You assume it's because there's a war in the Middle East and the price of oil is up. You see what I'm saying? You assume that there's some external force as to why you paying more from shit, when really it's the government, man. We got a big army to feed, right? And I saw a video with the 16-year-old, and she was in school, and she made a good point. Like, you know, America's always saying they somewhere else defending our freedoms when there's not a country on this earth that can invade America. Just think about it. What invading force? Where in America can an invading force take ownership of empty land? Like, when we went to war in Afghanistan, there was whole wide open deserts and ports that just didn't have any really populated areas. We heavily populated over here, and we have guns. Any army that decide to come over here and try to occupy anything gonna have more of a problem of the people before they even meet a military force. They not gonna be able to set up camp and get away with it. People ain't going for it. So there's no one who's a threat to us somewhere else. We have the best Navy in the world, best Air Force in the world, and we have NATO partners. And we have no real neighbors who are a threat. You have Mexico, you have Canada, you have a few down, like during the Cuban Missiles Crisis, things like that. But they on top of that, they not gonna let that happen. So there's no one close to us. Pearl Harbor was a 1 in a million thing. It'll never happen like that again. You understand? So we need all this money to fuel the military because we all over the world. And people say it's because of resources and things like that. Other people say it's because we got to control dominance, but it's a waste of, because that's where the majority of our tax dollars are going. This is why your schools look the way they look. This is why your streets have potholes and all they want to do is put patches on them, which make the road worse. This is why you have so many abandoned properties that the government is just not willing to go after the owners. Hey, you owe us money, we take it, we got it, we ain't gonna do nothing with it. This is where you get eyesores. You go through small towns, inner cities, and you see all these abandoned properties. At one time they belonged to somebody, but instead of making them people responsible for the upkeep, the government took them, sat on them. Now they look worse than what they did when they had ownership. There's no laws to govern it. If I go out right now and buy a property, say for instance, for the next 10 years I rent it out. Then I decide to quit putting money into it. Then at some point people quit renting the property. Then at some point I become in tax debt because I ain't making no money, but I still have to pay taxes on that property. I just say, fuck it, let the government take it. I done made enough money for 10 years. I got my initial investment back plus a little bit more money. I'm not finna keep putting money into that property. Now, the government has the property, and the property just sit there and becomes an eyesore. Just gets worse and worse over years. No accountability at all for ownership. You see what I'm saying? They could literally change the way that goes. They could literally put more money into infrastructure. I see these highways always need construction. It's amazing. But you go into the cities and you go into the small towns, they not really, only major roads that bring, as truckers, that as a supply chain, they'll do that. But for other small, where you come out your house every day, they not really too concerned or in no rush to get to those. You see what I'm saying? It's a ploy, man, and it's a play on our mentality. We're filled with so much hate. Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught us to learn to love instead of hate, because it's easy to love. It takes a whole lot to, it's easy to hate, but it takes a whole lot to love. A whole lot. Because a lot of people are just not lovable. But you still have to put forth the effort. So, as Americans, man, whatever direction this shit take, it'll never come back. You got motherfucking countries like China, the Royal Emirates. You got a lot of countries waiting for us to fall of the government to lose power. And shit gonna go crazy. People really think, oh man, we gonna kick off a civil war and then we gonna reestablish the government. We gonna get this country back to where, no, you not. You gonna have, how many of y'all know that like interstates tolls, like I-80, up and down Illinois, Indiana, 88, are owned by Austria. They owned by other countries. The cities, the states, this country is not even getting money on those tolls. China has interests, which is due to the free trade agreement, because we get a lot of shit from them. Got to give them a little extra here and there. But there are countries that have interests here. big interest, especially the hotel chains out of India. You know what I mean? Like people keep saying China, China, China. China ain't the only motherfuckers that got money running through this bitch. Germany, Russia, and I thought they were our sworn enemies. If we fall out and the government collapses, people not even drawn. They thinking just with blinders on. It's other countries that's been waiting. Do you hear me? It's just like, you fucking 4'11", and you got this motherfucker over here that's 6'6", telling you what to you do it because you don't have a choice. But the minute you get a growth spurt in you, and he lose a few inches, get old, boy, do you know how quick those tides will turn? But people not focused on that, man. We're a selfish country and we spoiled. We used to having shit our way. But we don't see the world, the big picture. What position this country plays on the world playing field. If we fold, the last successful democracy going, well, I don't know, Europe may still hold on. But it's curtains. You think you just gonna be fighting the guy on the other side of the fence here in America, because you're gonna have those foreign entities paying in to one side or another, supporting one side or whichever side they figure that's gonna give them the more benefit and the more recognition for helping them get where they at, to where the playing field is equal to what they can do and can't do. They gonna fund it, man. We ain't gonna be fighting this shit by ourselves individually. Everybody going out buying guns, clearing the gun store. The motherfuckers gonna get guns sent over here. Oh, they gonna pop up out of everywhere. You know what I mean? Ammo, anything you need, depending on which side may be more or less willing to coincide with those who are supplying it, man. Like, we literally, man, we playing the fuck out of crazy right now. You feel me? And like I say, it's not about the president. Whoever been the president ain't never affected me since I've been an adult. I could say probably not Reagan. I was young when Reagan was in office. Maybe not so much. I say Bush is really my generation as an adult. Reagan a little bit, but it's never affected me. You know what fucking affects me? My local fucking officials who write all these dumbass city ordinances. My state officials who write all these funky ass state laws and allow these big boys, pharmaceutical companies, like I say, pharmacies everywhere. They getting good money. That allow all these big companies, big corporations, insurance companies to come in and steady dig in my fucking pocket when I'm barely making $1 or $2. Literally. Right now, in this country, if you as an individual is not making $48,000 or more, you fucked. All you got is bill money. And you got to scrape, scramble, borrow to have some living life money, to enjoy different shit. You see what I'm saying? So I just wanted to make this video, man, to see how many people out here really thinking with a clear head, man. It's our local government. It's not even, we ain't even got to the federal. It's a lot of bullshit going on the federal level too. But it starts with the local level. You want to see change, all you got to do is sit back and say, how long has my state representatives been in office? How long has my congressman been in office? Because they the motherfuckers that go back and do the research and write the laws and present them. A lot of times they can go through a Congress, approval. Other times they just, they can go to the president and he can do an executive order on it. But at the end of the day, they the motherfuckers that decided. President ain't sitting back writing no fucking laws. He may come up with an idea, say, hey, I want this. But they the motherfuckers that draft and write it out. Every day. You feel me? Well, not every day, because they don't work that often. Which is how you know it's a lobbyist situation. Motherfucker come to them, y'all need to discuss this. They go in there, discuss it, they draft it to where it benefits both sides. Then it goes into law. So any law you see, the motherfuckers say, oh, the Democrats did this, all the Republicans did that. No, the motherfuckers all agreed on that. They tell you, oh, this one didn't, that one didn't. Listen, enough of them did for it to go through at any time. And when there's not an argument and they say bipartisan, I know that somebody been greasing the wheels on both sides, man. You know, tell me in the comments if you think I'm off the beaten path. Or if I'm crazy as hell. You draw? Because literally shit ain't making sense, man, and it ain't adding up, and nothing has changed. The last 20 years is progressively getting worse, one thing after another, that at the end of the day, individuals like me pay the cost. I had to go out here, bust my ass and work, and then turn around and shell out all this money. Not just in direct taxes, but just in the cost of living. Mortgages keep going up. Insurance premiums keep going up. Like, what the fuck? Cost of medication, thank God I'm healthy, but I got family members who do. That shit keeps, like, how do you keep making money on people that ain't got money, man? You know what I'm saying? And like I say, other democracies fail because the people as a whole are fed up with every month. Nobody escapes. When you see them countries overthrowing their governments, man, everybody got to pack their shit and get the fuck. Everybody got to go. Somebody from within their ranks or within their leadership now takes over the country. That's how it works. Because all you motherfuckers corrupt. Everybody got to go. You see what I'm saying? But over here, we have a standing democracy that, you know, people keep saying, well, it's worked for hundreds. No, it hasn't. It's worked because the people would much rather point the finger and be mad at each other than actually voice their anger toward the people who are in charge, who are responsible for the conditions in their house. Looks like the recession that happened a few years ago with the housing. That was all government allowed. Even after the fact, Fannie Mae them still kept their motherfucking money. Still operating today like ain't nothing happened. But thousands and tens of thousands of Americans lost their homes to foreclosure. And I know this because I used to do property preservation, which means we go through for houses that have been foreclosed on. We go in, we clean them out, we keep them up, and we repair different shit on. At the time I was doing that, I didn't even know it was that many foreclosed homes here. And this was just in the state of Indiana where I'm from. So imagine what it's like. Like every day, literally, I had 3-4 houses to go to. And there's plenty of companies out here. My company that I worked for at that time had like 62 contractors. So imagine just 62 contractors in Indianapolis where I stay doing 3-4 foreclosures throughout the state. What about the ones that's in Fort Wayne? What about the ones that's in you see what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? Like, can't be the only city doing it. That was a lot of fucking foreclosures. And it really didn't dawn on me till later. You know, I just got really tired. It was good money because the banks paid, but damn, I didn't know the banks had that many properties. And some of the houses we go to, people still living there. We got to get there, call the civil sheriffs, change the locks and have them go. Whatever they can get out of there, they need to get it out to the curb. Everything else, we take into the dump. And a lot of those properties, people just died too, because it'd be full houses, dishes, and everything in there. You know what I mean? But it just goes to show you what kind of business it is. And our job was to keep the house in order until the real estate agent can find somebody that'll buy it. And they don't want anybody to complain or try to talk down the price because of this, that, and the other. So the banks try to get them back in the best condition they can get them so that they can resell them. You know what I mean? You know, that's off topic a little bit, but it's just a little idea because of the different jobs that I've had over the years. I can see how the government is affecting people in major cities, rural areas. It's the same shit. Everybody facing the same shit, man. So we got to figure it out, man. But, you know, like I say, motherfuckers talking about civil war, if that's what they want, Long as they know what it is they asking for. It's not going to be no one side fight the other side, one side win, and the world changes. It's going to be a whole lot of outside influence to go with that. You know what I mean? And then the economy will never recover from that. Not anytime soon. Not in our lifetime. Maybe 10, 15, 20 years from now. You draw, but it'll never recover overnight like people think it will. Because so many shit's going to be disrupted and it's going to dry up shit. And those shits have to be replaced. Just think about it. If there's a civil war, who's going to work? How farmers supposed to continue to do their thing? How is truckers supposed to continue to get product where it need to be? How can, any type of industry continue to survive during the Civil War? That means everything will come to a standstill because it's going to be too dangerous for people to just try to move around like we moving around now. Just a thought, man. Peace and love.